Hello and welcome to an exciting tutorial. So in this tutorial, I'll teach you how to create user rankings, right? So imagine you have a website where you have a sign up and login system, but you want to separate certain areas to only be accessed by the admin, or other areas by the accountant, and the other areas by the normal users, and so on and so forth. So this system is going to add security levels to your website. So there's an easy way to do that, and let me show you how. Now, to begin with our web design, you're going to need a couple of things. So the first thing you will need is a text editor. So I'm using Sublime Text, and then you can use any text editor of your choice, including Windows Notepad. That's fine. Then you need a browser, of course, and then you need to have installed a web server. So I'm using XAMPP as my web server. You can use MUMP, WAMP, or LAMP depending on your system. And now make sure that Apache and MySQL are both running, because we will be using both of those. Okay, so now that those things are running, if you don't know how to install XAMPP, I'll leave a link in the description to a video that helps you to do that. Okay, so once everything is set up and running, we can begin. So if you look at my my URL here, it says localhost/ranks/. So you should make sure that yours says that as well. Type in that in there, and then go to your htdocs folder. Now this is my www folder. For XAMPP it's called htdocs. Now for other servers it may be called the public HTML or the www folder. So in there just create a new folder called ranks, and that's the one we're going to be using. So what I will do here is I will create a new file in my text editor and immediately save it. So I'll go to my htdocs folder and go to ranks. Where is ranks here? Okay, let me find it. Wait, did I create this folder yet? So I created it in the wrong place, apparently. So let me cut it from there. So I have another folder in the drive D, but make sure it's drive C, htdocs. Okay, let me put it in there. Very good. So back here, ranks, and let's create a page called index.php. Now this we'll pretend this is our website, okay? So I'll put some HTML elements there, and I'll say home page like that on the title. Okay, so here I will just simply put an h1 tag like that and say this is the home page, right? Something like this. And then also I will put a header at the very top here. I will say header, so that we can have a simple navigation system here. I'll say home. Now we're going to have several pages here. So there's home, and then there's the login page, there's the sign up page, and then actually let's put these ones at the very end. Let's put something in between there. So the home page, there's going to be the admin page so that we can test that. And then there's going to be the accountant page, admin, accountants, or receptionist. So receptionist, I hope that's the correct spelling. Okay, so the thing is, you can have as many levels as you want. So this is what I want to show you, how to have those levels. So let's come back here and refresh, and we have this nice thingy here. So let's just put a little bit of styling here. Let's put a style tag. Now you can import your CSS files, no problem. It's advisable actually to do that instead of typing them inline, because when you load your website, if it's an external file, it will be cached, which will speed up the loading of your browser. Okay, so let us create some CSS for our header like so. So first of all, I want to give it a height of some kind, let's say 30 pixels, and I will give it a padding of 10 pixels. Yep, there we go. And I'll give it a background color of black and a color of white. Okay, and while we are at it, we can do something to the body. So I'll say body, and I will say font family so that we can have a nice font. Verdana. You can use any fonts you want there, and let's add a font size of 13 pixels, like so. Okay, so what we've done here is styled the body, which is this one. Now, unfortunately, we are styling this inside the body, so let's put everything above the body so that our styles come first. So let's move everything over like this, and so we have body, body, header, closing header tag, h1, h1. Pretty good. Okay, so let me save this. Let's go back here and refresh, and this is what we get. Very nice, but let's right click on the header and go to inspect element, and then right here I will go to my black color so that I can change it to something more pleasing to the eye. Let's try something like that. I like that color. So I will copy the color here after changing it, and then I will paste it here so that it's permanent. Very good. Now we're going to add tags to this to create links to these guys. Okay, so what I will do is let's actually drop these a little bit, or let me just do this, a tag like that. Make sure there's a space there so that it shows you some href, like so. Okay, so let's move that there. Let's not leave any space. So I will copy this to all of these guys, paste. Okay, I forgot the angle bracket, so copy that, paste, 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 and paste, and more pasting, paste. And now I want to put the closing tags. So there, you can hold down Control, by the way, and select multiple areas and then paste at once. Boom. And then let's do the same thing here. Paste. Great. We're in business. Okay, now let's tell these guys where to go. So the home page, of course, goes to the index.php. This other one goes to admin.php. So we don't have these pages yet, but we will create them momentarily. So I'll shortcut this one to acc.php. There's no reason for us to type long things. Receptionist, I'll change it to rec.php. And login will be a page called login.php. And the sign up, of course, will be a page called signup. Signup.php. Okay, so let's refresh and see the monstrosity that has occurred. So these are links now, so they have different styles. So let's revert back to what we had by doing again the header, but then space A, like so. So we're telling it that all the A tags inside header should have this. So here I will say color white. So let's see if that actually changes anything. Let's refresh, and there we go. Now, if you don't want the underlining stuff there, you can just say text decoration and set that to none. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so we are here now, but if we click on any of these, of course, it's object not found because we haven't created these guys at all. Now, in order to ease the workflow, what I will do is go to my the same htdocs folder and grab my ranks folder and drop it inside my Sublime Text so that I have a nice shelf over here where I can add files. Okay, so what file we want to add now is the header, because I don't want to keep typing this header in every page. So I just want one header. So right click on the folder and say new file, and I will save this to header.php. Okay, and I'll create a new one and I'll save it as footer.php. Save footer, careful with that spelling there, .php. Very nice. So what I will do is from up to body here, or up to header actually, I will cut everything here and put it inside header, and then I will cut the rest of it, which is body and HTML, and put it in the footer. And then I will save this file, but because now index.php is now just this, so what I will do is include a file using my PHP tags, and I'll just say include like that, and I'm going to say header.php, and then I will close those tags right there immediately, copy them and put them down here, and this time I will include the footer like so. Okie dokie. So far so good. So let's refresh and we are back to normal. Everything is good on the planet. Okay, so at this point, of course, we will need one more thing. We'll need a functions.php file. So let's create that one. New file. Save this one and say functions. Actually, forget functions. Let's use let's create access. We're just going to name it access.php. Now this is the important file that we will use to save our access levels. So I will save this one like so, and then I will need to include this file in many places on every page, right? Access.php. So right here on index, on every page that I want users to be questioned whether they have the right to be there, I will include access.php. Okay, so now what I will do is let's go to, so not on the header or the footer or the index page, because the index page should be kind of like free for all, I think. It depends what system you're building. So let's create the other pages though that the header is in for. So there's admin, there's accountant, ACC. So let's create those. New. Let's save. And this one will be admin.php. And then let me save the other one. This one will be acc.php. I think this should be enough for us to get the picture. And then here I will save this one as login.php, and then I will save one more as a signup.php. Save signup.php. Now the login and sign up I'm going to do in here is going to be a very quick version of the actual thing. I'm not going to deal with security. I'm not going to deal with security, most of it, and I'm not going to deal with error checking in a lot of things. I have dedicated tutorials for that on my channel, so you can check out those with sign up and login with security. They talk about that in depth. So here what I'm just doing is just trying to establish users on a system and then show you how to create the access levels. Okay, that takes priority. So in the sign up page, let's do a sign up real quick. So I'll copy exactly what's in the index page and go to the sign up page and paste. Then I will say this one is the sign up page. In fact, I don't need to say this. I just need to write sign up like so. That's a cool looking sign up. So if I click on sign up, then we are on the sign up page, right? Okay, so before the footer here, let's create a form. It's a very quick version of a form. So of course I will give it a method, this is very important, of post. And then let me put a few inputs here. So I'll say input of type text. Now this one will be of type email. Let's give it a name of email. and then let's say it's required, like so. There. So this one is email and password. So this one will be of type password. And then we just want a name at the top here. So let's just say name. Now, of course, there's no type name, so the type will be text, but the name will be name. And then let's put a few placeholders here. So I will say placeholder name, and then placeholder email, and then placeholder again, password. Okay, and of course we need to have a way to submit this form. So we'll create one of type submit. We won't give this one a name because we don't want it to be part of the submission process, but we will give it a value. That's what will appear on the button, and that one is sign up. Goodie. Now I need some break tags here so that these things can be on separate lines, like so. So I will copy this and put it there, and I will put one more here, and one more there. So let's see what we have, and there we go. Not much to look at, but good enough. So let's just let's style these a little bit. I'll give them a class of input. You can name them anything you want. I'll give this class of button, and let's put some styles right here. Style, some quick and dirty styles. So I will say dot input because that's how we refer to a class. So everything with a class of input will get these styles. So first of all, I want to add a border radius. This will make the corners a bit rounded, so 5 pixels is enough. And then I will add a border, solid border, thin with a slight gray, like so. And then I will add some padding in there of 10 pixels. I will add a bit of right, let's just check what's going on, by the way. Okay, there we go. You see what's happening there? That's good. So I like that. So I will just say give them a margin a little bit, just a margin of 4 pixels. That should do. So what I need here is to use exactly the same for my button here. So I will say class of button. Very good. And I will refresh. Very nice. But on button, I will add a cursor of a pointer. Goodie. That way, it's like that. Okay, so good. Now let's hit submit so that we can sign up. And you see, please fill out this one, please fill out this one, blah, blah, blah. Things are good. Life is good. Okay, so if I go up here before the header, I can put my PHP tags there. PHP tags. And I will close them there. So I just want us to know when something is posted. So I'll use my server here to do this. So I will say server, like that, $_server. And then I'm going to say, let's zoom in a little bit here. We are coding this. I will say server, no, actually it's request method. That almost went out of my mind. Request method. So if the request method is equal to post, then something was posted. Isn't that great? So now at this point, we're just going to say print readable. Let's print readable the post variable because that's what will contain our variables that we posted. So if I refresh the page, nothing happens, but if I say sign up, oops, it's warning me. So let me also zoom in here so you can see much better. Okay, so there we go. That's my name. I will put an email at yahoo.com, and I will put a password, very secure password of password, and click sign up. Don't save. So this is the data we are getting there. Very good. So we have an array which has name is equal to, email is equal to, password is equal to. Very good. Okay, so let's come back here and see what we have in our database, right? So let's come to, oh, we have to create our database here. Oh, sorry there, wrong tutorial. Okay, so let me actually close that. Okay, so here we need a database to do this. So we're going to call the database ranks. Very original. So we'll click on new. We go to get to where the database is. In case you don't know, you type localhost/phpMyAdmin, this phpMyAdmin right there, and you get here. So you have to make sure that MySQL is running in order for this to work. And then we hit new there, and then we come here and let's create one called ranks_db. And let's create. Good. Now let's create a table. So we just need one table, which is users. Now in users, we're going to have an ID. We're going to have a user ID, and then we're going to have the name. Of course, these three here, the name, the email, and the password. So 1, 2, 3 already. And then 4 is ID. And then we want 1 for ranks, of course, and 1 for date. So that looks like 6 items. So let's put 6 over there. Go. Okay. So let's add ID. Let's add user ID. You can put an underscore between those if you want. We'll have 1 for name. We'll have 1 for email. We'll have 1 for date. And finally, the reason we are all here, rank. Good. Okay, so here we'll use big integer, same as here. Actually, maybe let's try a user ID that's different. Variable character of size 60, and name, variable character of size maybe 20, and email, variable character of size 100. Actually, maybe let's stick to the numbered IDs here. Big int, remove that. Date, of course, this will be date time. And then let's put the default value as current timestamp. Rank will be a variable character, and depending on how long your ranks are going to be, I would suggest maybe a 20. That should be enough. Let's zoom out a bit. So make sure that this ID is auto increment and it's a primary key. So select all that and let's hit save. And now we have our database, but we forgot password, of course. So I will add one more here. I'll say add one, go, and let's put password. Now we're going to hash our password. So variable character of 64 characters should do. Hit save. Very good. Now let's go back to our structure. We're going to be, if you're going to be using name as a search term, for example, when we're logging in, so we will need the name and email, maybe the password as well. This is a very weird password, so let me change that. It's pass, double S, not double A. Save. So all of these things will need to be searchable, because we're going to need to search for the password when we are logging in, the name as well. for when we are searching for users, the email as well, the user ID as well, the date, and the ranking. So let's just click index for all of these guys. So index, okay. Index again, okay. Anyone else index? Yes, okay. Index, okay. Index, okay. What's remaining? The date. Yes. Good. Everybody gets an index. Okay, so we are good to go. So let's come back to the home. So I want to save this data in my database. So what do? I will connect to my database. So to connect to a database is very simple. So we are going to use PDO here. So I'm going to say PDO is equal to, actually, let's just say DB. That makes more sense. DB is equal to new PDO, like that. New PDO. Let's give it the driver name. So that's my SQL full colon. Let's give it the host. We'll say host is equal to local host. What's the DB name? The DB name is ranks underscore DB, but we have to tell it that this is the DB name. So let's say DB name equals, yeah, and then here we'll put a comma. Let's put the username, and the default username is root. The password is empty. So if your database has different credentials, you're going to put them there as required. And then to prove that things have worked, I'll actually say if, like so. Yeah, I'll just say if not, I'll put an exclamation mark there. If this does not happen, then let's die with a message. We'll say could not connect to database. Could not connect to the database. Semicolon. So if we do get to this point, then we have connected. Very good. So save to database like that. And let's refresh and resend the data. Oopsie. So doesn't seem like things went all that well. Oh, they did, because I just removed that thing showing the info, right? So we didn't get any errors, we didn't get this error, so things did go well. So all we have to do now is actually save to the database. Okay, so to avoid the possibility of being hacked as well, we're going to use prepared statements. So for reference, I will put back that print readable over post like that, but where we can have something to look at. Now I will add some pre-tags just to make it look nicer, so that we can see what's really going on. Duplicate that like so, like that, and move this to the bottom. Okay, so let's resend the data. Okay, and there we go. So now we have the name, the email, and the password. Now here we have to check whether this is really an email, but I think here it will probably be an email because of what we... Anyway, if you want to know how to do evaluation as well, like I said, I've got another tutorial that goes in depth on logging in. So it's called, I'll leave links in the description, of course. So password here, password. So this is just a straightforward thing. So what I want is to create some variables here. Now I'll put all my variables in one array. I'm just going to call it AAR, like that, ARR, I guess. So this one will contain the name. So let's put our name there, and this one will be contained inside post name. Well, there we go. Okay, so we have name, we have email, and we have password. So they're all coming from in here. So let's do that. Name, email, password, like that. Now, like I said, we need to hash our password. So to hash a password is simple. We're just going to do hash like so. For those that don't know what hashing is, it's encrypting, so that instead of it being just normal text as the password, we're going to convert it to an unreadable text. So we'll use SHA-1. Okay. I think this stands for like secure hashing algorithm 1 or something. Not really sure. So let me come back here and put this here and remove the data. So our password is being hashed and shoved into here. Now, every time you hash your password, it's going to be exactly the same length, regardless what the password was. That's how this SHA-1 works. Okay, so we have the name, we have the email, we have the password, and we don't need to worry about the date, but we do need to create a what is this? A post ID. Okay, we do need to create a post ID. Let's go back to our table here so we can see what we need. So name, email, password. So the rank there, of course. So let's move one more step here. Let's change password to rank. So now the thing is, you need a default rank that you're going to be assigning people to. Now, sorry, on this post I forgot the underscore here, so just edit that, move it to the beginning, do that. Okay, that's the correct name. So rank is now, if you notice, we didn't send the rank, so we don't want to send that information. We just want to assign it. So the default rank is going to be user. So it depends on your website. So let's say, for example, it's an e-commerce website. You might want to put the default user as customer or something like that. So essentially what you do is you pick the lowest rank ever of all of them, and then that's what you assign every new user. That way they have the lowest number of privileges to start with, so they can't do anything immediately. It would be weird if you give everybody admin as soon as they log in and then you downgrade them. That's not good. All right, so we have that out of the way, and the date is going to add the current timestamp, so we are good. Password, so we need user ID. Now for the user ID, I'm going to create a function that we're going to use. So let's put the function up here somewhere there. I'll just copy and paste it. So I copied it from a class that I created some time back, but what part we need is just this part where it says function create user ID. So this will only run when we call it. Okay, so what this does essentially is it creates a user ID of length 19, from 4 to 19. Actually, instead of 19, let's put 20, because that thing can accommodate 20. And it just gets random numbers. So first of all, it will get a random number to act as a length of the ID, so from between 4 and 20, so it can be any length. And the number starts here. We start with an empty string, and then we loop for as many times as this random number was given. So let's say this random number is 10. It means we'll loop 10 times, and every time we loop, we're going to add to the number. We're going to add the new random number. So every time we loop, we create another random number between 0 and 9, because those are the only numbers that exist, and we add it to the number string, and at the end of the day we return that string, which will be a random number. Now, others have asked, is it possible to repeat creating this number? Yeah, it's possible, but the chances are very, very slim that you're going to do this twice and get exactly the same number. So the number is quite big, you don't have to worry about that. But if you do, all you need to do is check for it in the database before you actually save to make sure that you're not repeating the user ID. But for our all intents and purposes of this tutorial, we are not going to do that because we will not get a repeat anyway. So what I will do is create a post ID here. I'll say, actually it's user ID, not post ID, user ID, like so. And then I will just say create user ID like that, and it's going to run this and give us a value. Okay, so what else do we need? That is it. Okay, pretty cool. So now let's now if you were going to check to see if the ID exists, let me just put it there just in case somebody is wondering and they want to do that. Let's put this at the top here so that ARR only contains this while we run our query. So we don't need this anymore because let me just go here, edit, and say where is that thing? Comment, toggle block comment. There we go. So we comment that out, and let's create a query. So our query is going to just check if this user ID exists in our database. So query is equal to, we're going to say select all from, actually because we just want to see if there's a result, so we don't need to select all columns. We can just say select ID from users, where user ID is equal to, now here because we are using prepared statements, we'll put a full colon and say user ID. We'll tell it to limit 1 so it can stop searching as soon as it finds 1. Okay, so if this returns true, then this exists somewhere. So let's make the prepared statement then. So we're going to use db up here, that db of course. So I'm going to say db prepare. So it will prepare this query. So this is just logical. When you want to run a prepared statement, obviously you start by preparing it, but let's send that preparation to a statement. So we're just going to shortcut it like that. This is the statement. So we're creating a statement by preparing our query, and then once we prepare it, now sometimes you find that the statement might turn out to be false if this query is wrong for one reason or another. So it's a wise idea to put an if statement, and let's put that there. So if that is true, that's how you say if it is true, then we continue. So to continue here, we are going to now execute this statement. So say statement execute, like so, right? Now, if for some reason there were no variables that were required, maybe for example, let's say this is just select all from users and it ends there like this, then executing it like this is fine. Don't put anything in there, just execute it. But or you could put an empty array in here like so, array like that, right? An empty array still works, but this is not what we have. What we have is that we have this variable here, so we're telling it to prepare. And because we put a full colon there, we're saying we're going to replace this with a variable, some actual text there, okay? So it knows that's what preparation is all about. Now, for us to give it the value, we're going to send this array and all its contents and put them in there so that it will execute with that in mind. Now, the important thing to remember is that how many, you can put several. You could say something like where user ID is equal to user ID and something equal to something. But of course, you will put your full colon there. So you just have to make sure that the number of variables here matches the number of items in your array here, right? This is why I have put this at the top there, because if I had come down here and tried this query, you'll find that the array has a lot of items but only one space, and then the thing will get confused. So it will not run like that. So just make sure. So it's usually a good idea to set the array to false before you actually use it, so that if you used it at the top here somewhere, it will be reset to false and then become an array again. But for our purpose, this is fine. So execute the statement. And then how do we know that there's a result? What we will do is we will say statement. Oops, wrong one. Statement fetch. Something missing here. Fetch all, like that. So you get to choose what kind of fetch you want. So I want the PDO full colon. I want fetch. So you can use arrays here. So let's use arrays. So I'm going to say ASSOC. That's short for associative array. But if you want to use objects, you can do OBJ, which is my personal favorite. But for this, we will use ASSOC. Like this. So right here, you could assign this to a check, something like check, like so. And then you say if check, if everything went well, then you run this, like so. Okie dokie. So at this point, you could say if found, where is this? This will go well and that will go well. So now the thing is, it will get here even though you don't return any result. It will return an empty array, right? So what we'll say here, we'll assign this to data like this, because we want to get our data from there. So now what I need to check is if data, in fact, let me check if it is an array. If is array, data, and most importantly, count data is greater than 0. So if we're here, definitely it means we have a repeat of this. So if that's actually true, then let's override that again. Boom. Now I can guarantee you it's not going to repeat twice, but if you really want to loop through this, anyway, let me say ARR is equal to that. Okay. So now the important thing here is that we've changed what is contained in here, right? We've eliminated it, meaning that if we rerun this query, it's going to have a different result because we have a different thing here. So which means we could put this whole thing inside a while loop. So let's do that. I will say while condition, like so. Bam. Let me push these guys internal. So I'm going to say while some condition here, do this. So first of all, this is quite hectic. So while a certain condition is met, so what is the condition here? So let's find a way to create a condition. So I will say condition, let's just say call it condition. Condition is equal to false. Or because I want it to run at least once, so I'll say condition is equal to true, so that at least it will run while this condition is there. So I'll say while condition while condition is true, that's what we're asking, which it is, this will run. Okay, so once this runs, if it gets here, we need to create a possibility to change a condition so that if it becomes a false, then we are good to go. So if we do get here, it means condition is true, right? So condition is equal to true, meaning that we did find the item. So the reason we're setting it to true here, we're pretending that this item is actually in the database already. So we're setting it to true. We're assuming it exists. So then we run this, meaning that we query it. And then if we do find it, then here I will put condition. We did find it. So if we did find it, we want the condition to remain true so that we can loop through again. So I won't put it there. But if we get here, we will tell it to continue like that. So what continue does is it stops the loop right here and goes back to the top and checks the condition again and runs again. But if any of this doesn't happen, we don't get here and this doesn't change, when we get to this point, then let's set the condition to false. So let's go through it for a second. Let's imagine we create a user ID and it actually exists in our database. Or let's say it doesn't exist. So we create it and then we come here. This is true. We're going to run through here and we're going to do all this query stuff. But at some point it will get here and the answer will be 0 because we didn't find it. And so it will not be greater than this. So it won't pass through here, meaning it will end up here, which condition will be false, and then this will not repeat. Simple. But if it actually exists, when we check, we'll get to this point where we will change the value now of the user ID, and then we'll tell it to continue to loop again to the top and then query it again, and the loop continues. So while loops are very easy to create an infinite loop, so just be careful when doing this part here. But I'm telling you that you don't actually need to do this part here. It's just a precautionary measure. So if it's giving you problems, just delete this whole part here. It's actually pointless. You can run this whole thing without it. Okay, so once we get to this point now, we've set all our variables. So let's do another query run. So I'm going to copy everything here and I will, actually, I do not need all this. I just need up to there. That's good enough. So I will say boom, because we are not expecting any result from this query at all. So move this backward like so. Okay, so I'm just going to say insert. So we're going to change this. We are inserting a new record. So insert into users, and then we're going to put the column names and then the values like so. So pretty simple. First column name we want to add is user ID, then a name, then email, then a password, and of course the rank. We don't need to worry about the date, of course. So I'm just going to copy all these guys so that they're exactly in the same order as I add them here. And I hold down Control while I select here so that I can put full colons on all of these guys. Sorry about that, full colon. This would tell our prepared statement that these are the variables here. Sorry, again, undo. Okay, so then we prepare our statement. If everything went well, we are going to check the statement and run it. So here we will check if check, meaning things went well. But we just need to worry if things did not go well. And then right here, you can tell it to echo something, you know, echo. But a better way of doing things is to assign a variable called error. Error is equal to could not save to database. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, if we did save to the database, let's let me just say if error is not, if error is empty, that's it. So if the error is empty, everything went well, then we can redirect our user. So we're going to say header, location, full colon, the index page, no, actually the login page, so they can now log in. Login.php, and then down here say die, so that in case this header location fails, you will not load the rest of the page, it will just die there. That's a clean break. Okay, so it seems things are going as planned, but let's do the execution to know. Now error is here, so I need to create at the top there, I'll say error is equal to empty. Great, just so it's always there, and we can assign it to whatever errors we want. Yes, good. So this looks good. Let's give it a shot. Now we need to be able to see our errors in case there are any errors, so I will put the question mark right here just after sign up and PHP and PHP tags, and then I'm going to echo, but let's ask the question first. If error is not empty, then let's echo something. Yeah, so echo error like that. And once we do, I might want to put a break tag there just to give some space to everything else, maybe two, just to be safe. And also it might be a good idea to color this as red, so I'll do style is equal to, nope, not background color, but color red. And of course I will, okay, so since this is a double bracket, I can easily just combine these and close that span over there. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Let's put another break tag at the top here. Very good. Okay, so moment of truth, isn't it? So let's resend the data, resend, and now we are at login.php. So things have worked out. So let me come here to my users table and go to browse, and as you can see in here we have saved everything. So there's a user rank, there's a password, there's a date, there's the email, the name, and so on. Pretty good. Now login.php has nothing, of course, so we will copy from index.php, copy that. No, actually let's copy from signup.php, collect everything, copy, go to login.php and paste right there. Now we are going to change this to login, the title, that is the h1, and so that if we refresh we are here, a login. Very good. Let's also change this to login. Interesting. Now when logging in we just need our email, so remove that name, refresh, login, email, and password, then login. Once we log in, that's when we go to the home page, right? Very cool. Now where is this? This is the home page. Okay, back here. Okay, good. So let's do an actual login now. So there's a something called in fact, once we log in here we're supposed to go to the index page. So index.php, this is the login page, right? So here the error that we will get is obviously wrong username or password. Don't specify which one is wrong. It's always better this way to be vague with your messaging. Okay, so all we want from here, we don't want to, well, we will need a password, we don't need the rank, we don't need the name, we just need email and password. Yes, we don't need the user ID either. So remove all this nonsense. Very good. Okay, so at this point we don't need this and that. We don't need the rank, so let's remove these babies and actually write a new query, because this new query is called select all from users. So select all from users where, so we have to tell it where to select. So where email is equal to email. So we need that comma as well. Maybe not. And password is equal to, let's put an equal sign there, password. I'll tell it limit 1, and we don't need that bracket there. Okay, so select all from users where email is equal to email and password is equal to password. Good. Now remember that the password, we did hash the original password, right? So meaning the user is not going to type the hashed version. They're going to type the same password they typed when signing up. So in order for us to be able to compare the two, we have to hash this one as well. So let's hash it and then compare it to the other hash version, because the same password will produce the same hash. So that's how we know whether they added in the correct password. Good. So here, if we do get to this point, then we've actually managed to not log in, right? But if we get to this point, it means we did manage to log in. So what do we do once we manage to log in? So all we do is add a value to the session. So I'm going to put session like so. Session, and let's give it something. We're going to say session my ID or something. You can give it any value you want there, is equal to, and then let's get the fetch all. Oops, where is the fetch all? Oh, great. So let's go to the sign up and see where we added a fetch all here, so I don't have to type it again. Right here. So if the check is correct, then fetch all. And if the fetch worked, then good. So let's come back here. So if it check, let me just put this at the top here. Oh, actually, let's put it inside the check. Good. Oh, actually, no. This happens when things didn't go well. So let's put it inside here. Where is this? Where is this? So if the execute statement went well, no, this is not going to work. So let me start from the execute here, the check up to here. Copy that. Check, check, check. Ooh, I liked that. Let me do this. Paste it at the top there. This is repeated, so out. Okay, so we execute and we fetch the data. Now, if the data is fetched here, it means we've logged in. So let's remove the continue. This is our logging in. So this is where we will put our session file. Bam. Okay. Now we're going to get the very first item we got. Now remember, this returns an array. It actually returns an array of arrays. So the user ID is not going to be just data and then user ID like that. No, it's going to be data, first item in the arrays, and then user ID like that. So we're adding this to the session. Now session is a variable that's always active for as long as your browser is on. So if I set it while my browser is on, it doesn't matter if I close the page, the session value will remain, right? Until I close the entire browser. And even then, sometimes you find it again. So it monitors the session, the entire session. So it's a good idea to store things in here that you want to last for the entirety of the session. But to make it work, you have to add session start at the beginning. So at the top of the page, we have to say session start. Otherwise, session doesn't work. Okay. So once we get here, session, we add that, then we are logged in. But if things did not go as planned, then we get this. And then once we get this, we will not be redirected. Then we will get to read the error. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's see if it actually works. Come back here, refresh. So let me add some gibberish and login. Please enter an email address, so this thing is clever. And login. Oopsie daisy. What happened? So select from users where email and is equal to password and wait a minute. So we're redirected. Oh, my bad. You see, for as long as the query was run successful, then this check is going to be true. So this will actually never run unless the query had a fault, which it doesn't. So the else statement should be here. So else right there. Okay, so else, boom, wrong email and password, and then that's when we can do this. Yeah. So we go back to our login page and let me type some gibberish again, login, and we get wrong username and password there. Very good. Yeah, wrong. But let's type in the correct stuff. So password, enter, and now we are at the home page. Now we need to know who's actually logged in. So let's see how we do that. Now, an easy way to do that is to simply set the name as well. So let's duplicate this session in my ID and my name, and then at here we will say name. So now that so that we in the session we have this and that. So let's go back and sign in again just to get those. Okay, document expired, fair enough. Yeah, sure, we even resending actually would help. So email, let's go password, and we are logged in. Now that we are logged in, we'll have a value in the session with name. So let's go to our header because we want it throughout. So just below the header, let's do this. Let's say let's put a span, and let's put our PHP tags. Something like that, and close them there. Okay, so here we'll ask the question if is set. If this is set, so what is set again? This. So why am I seeing this? This kind of looks weird. I will figure it out eventually. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't change a thing. So if is set session my name. If that is set, then we'll echo it. Then we'll say echo my name. So let's come back here and do that. Oops, what is going on? Wait a second, what's happening? Why isn't my PHP code showing here? Wait. Oh, wrong place. This is the only place where we have this. Okay, so we need to figure out why this isn't working, and to do that, let's try to print readable what's inside the session. So we can take a sneak peek. Yeah, there we go. So we get undefined variable session on line 31. So line 31 session. Now, like I said earlier, if we don't do session start, then we can't use the session. So I will go up to the top there and I will do some PHP tags, and then I will do session start like so. I don't know why my PHP isn't highlighting here. Bummer. Sometimes this thing is disturbed, so I will tell it what language I want. I want it to be PHP. Okay, so there we go. So if I refresh now, I get that. But instead of just the name, I think we can say hi. So let's put some hi. Okay, something like this. Hi, that's my name. So that name will be replaced by whichever user that is. Okay, so we are done with the login and sign up. Oh, we need a logout page here. Sorry for that. Let's go to our header. Where is our header? This is the header. Okay, so sign up. I just want to duplicate this and just say logout. Okay, so you can put some if statements to make sure that if, for example, this is set, you know that a user is logged in. So if this is set, then you can show certain things, and if it's not, you can show certain things. Like for example, you don't want to show the login page if someone is logged in, and you don't want to show the logout page if they are not. So you can put if statements there, but we're not going to do that because this is not really about the sign up and login. It's about the ranking. Okay, so logout will take us to the logout page like that. So let's create the logout page real quick. I'll say new file in the folder, save, and say logout.php. And let's put our PHP tags there. Now remember, we're dealing with a session here, so session start is required. And then let's come back to the header and steal some of this code. We're going to get this part here, copy, logout, paste, like so. If this is set, the session, so let's copy that. If this is set, what do? We unset it. So is set becomes unset like that. So we can do this to all the values one by one, just in case for some reason some of them were set and others were not, so that we don't get an error. So I will change this to my ID so we can remove both. And then immediately we want to redirect this to location. Login.php. So you can decide where you want to send your users after this logout. So if now I refresh the page and click logout, let me put a space. 1 second. Let me put a space here. Okay. So logged in, and if I hit logout, ooh, session start. A session has already been started on line 3. Wait a second. Okay, so this is brilliant though. Oh, maybe is it? Maybe not. No. So I shouldn't have added session start at the down here in header, because session start will always be started in the actual page, since header is just included there, so you can't start the session twice. So that's why it's complaining here. So let's do that. So there we go. We've logged out, back here. Very good. So now what I want to do is deal with the ranking. So let's create another user that we're going to change the rank. So this time let's go back to sign up. Now of course you're going to create a what is this, a a profile page where the user an admin, just the admin can be able to change a user's information, for example. Maybe we can do that right quick. So just a second. So that we can be able to change the rank. So what I would do here, we'll change the rank internally in the database for now. So let's do this. Let me go to sign up, and sign up is Mary. And of course, I'll use mary@yahoo.com and password there, and hit sign up. So to log in, of course, I'll log in as Mary and put the password, and there we go. But my header isn't showing this. Okay, now that's because on the index page itself we don't have session start, I believe. So this is the index page, and okay, it seems the header actually comes first. Interesting. So it's a good idea to put the session start where yeah, the problem here with the page that is always at the top. But since we don't have one page that's like that, let's just give it a start right here. So I will do this here, session start, like so. Okay, then we add the header. So there we go. So once the session is there, we have this, and we are golden. So hi Mary. But what rank is Mary exactly? So we're going to make Mary a receptionist. So let's do that using stereotypes here. So if I browse, you see that Mary is here and the rank is user. But let's upgrade Mary a little bit. Okay, we'll upgrade this one to an admin, this one to a chitech, a receptionist. So let's click edit on both of these. So user will be admin. So it's a good idea to use small letters for all the rankings. That way you don't forget which letter was capitalized or not. So I'm going to put R there, and let's hit go. Okay, there we go. But we just need one more who's just a user, right? So let's log out and sign up here, sign up. Let's sign up John, and I'll go john@yahoo.com, password, and let's sign up again. Login John, and then password. Okay, so hi John. So we have 3 records now, and there we go. Okay, so we have a user, we have an admin, we have a receptionist. Perfect, right? So now let's deal with creating the access levels. Okay, so to create our access levels, we are going to go to access.php, right? So what we will do is we'll create this access.php file, and we want to include this file anywhere we want. If we don't want everybody to be able to view that page, we'll include this file. So let's put some PHP tags. We don't need to close these PHP tags because we are not putting any HTML in here. So goody. Now all we need to do is to add some a condition, right? So ask yourself, what condition should be met for me to know if this current user is an admin, right? So what does it need to be? So the first thing we need to know is, let me go to, actually wait a second here, let's come back here, we forgot something. When we go to the sign up page, right here where we are, the login page actually, where we are giving the ID, the name, we'll also add the rank, my rank. So let's say ranker, like so that we can have that as well handy. Okay, so let's go back to access levels, booty. In fact, let me copy these boys up here. In fact, just that is enough. Oh, maybe we need this one. Yeah. Good. So let's go to access. Now we know that if this is set rank, then it means somebody is logged in. So all we need to do is just to check if this is set. We're going to say if is set my rank, and my rank is equal to admin. So if this condition is met, it means this user is an admin, right? So we're going to save this to a condition. So we're going to say admin is equal to, okay, so admin is equal to if this is set and so on and so forth. So that's the admin. So this will be because this is a condition, it's a true or false question here. So here what will happen is that if this is set and this is like this, this will be equal to either true or false. So let's actually see that in action. So what I will do is I'll do a var dump like so. Okay, var dump, and I'll say admin like that. Var dump admin. Now all we need to do is I want to go to my index page, and all I need to do, if I want to know whether somebody is logged in or not, I will just include that file. So let me put a list there so that I can include more than one. So very top there, access.php like so. Okay, so let's refresh. Oh, unexpected include on line 6. Why is it unexpected? Because there's no semicolon. Okay, never forget those semicolons at the end of the lines. So as you can see, it says boolean false. Interesting, that says false. Okay, nobody's surprised. This guy is not an admin, because if we go to our database, we see that John is just a user. But let's do a little bit more here. So I'm going to add two more here, and this one will be equal to user, and this other one is going to be equal to receptionist. I don't know if that's how I typed it actually, receptionist. I'll hope that. Okay, so then let's check. Copy this and paste there. So is this person a receptionist? Refresh. No, that's false. But is this person a user? Right? Ooh, it says false. Very suspicious, right? So let's go back to my rank here and see rank is user. Okay, so let's come back here and see what's going on. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to var dump it there. So now this is where our problem is: undefined index my rank. So that is not set. This is why we're having all these problems. Okay, so let me undo this. Now that's because we've only added my rank right now, and we have to log out and log in. Log out because we've changed that. So let's log in as John again. So let me password. Now what do you see? You see true. So this guy is indeed a user. So let's come back to accesses here, access, and let's change and ask the question again. Is this one an admin? It says false. Interesting. Is this one a receptionist? false. Are they a user? Of course, it's going to be true, right? True. So here, let's leave it at receptionist for a second, and then let's log in as somebody who is actually a receptionist. So here it says false. Okay, good. Let's go and log out. Log in as Mary. Password. And what do you say? Mary is false. Let's come back here. Mary. So maybe the text is wrong. So let's make sure. I'll copy this from exactly the rank. And let's put it there. Let me copy. I think I just wrote the wrong spelling and paste. Maybe not. Session rank is equal to, let's come back here, refresh. No, it's still false. So something is wrong. So let me do this and print readable. Ooh. Actually, instead of doing all that, let me just put it here, var dump. So let's see what's inside rank. So there's receptionist. Interesting. But if you notice very well, there's a space there at the very end. Interesting. So that space there killed everything, right? So if you don't want issues like this with spaces, you can use the word trim here. But if spaces do matter, that's up to you. You can leave that out and just make sure that inside the database there are no spaces. So let's do this. Control. Ooh, why am I holding down shift? Like this. So if it is set, and then the trimmed version where we removed the trailing and the spaces on both sides. Okay, so let's come back here and refresh. Ooh, so there we go. Yeah, so now let's just check for receptionist. Here we are showing the old version here, so let's do that and refresh. Okay, so it's saying it's true, she's a receptionist. So let's try this again. Log out as John. Password. So clearly John is not a receptionist. And then let's log in now. Let's log out. Log in as Mary. What do you know? Mary is true receptionist. So instead, what I was supposed to do here is edit this. Accidentally, when changing the receptionist, I left a space there at the very end, so remove that and save. That's what was causing the problem. Okay, so now how do we use this to restrict pages? So let's say, for example, I want the receptionist page to only the receptionist to be there. So we haven't even created that page, so I will right click and create it and save it as rec.php. Save. Where are you? Rec.php. So just like the index page here, I will copy everything from the index page and go to the receptionist. So here, this is the receptionist page, right? And then let's go now to the accountant. This is the accountant page, something like this. And then admin, there we go. This is the admin page. Good, we are good to go. So here Mary is a receptionist. Good, we accept that, right? But at the moment, if I click on accountant, she can access the accountant page, receptionist, and even the admin page. Very good. But now let's restrict access, right? So let's go to the access level here. Now, you can include this page anywhere, but then let's add something else after. So immediately you don't add this here. Here you put all your rankings. So it's just a repeat. If you've noticed, we just check if the rank is set and if the rank is a very specific word that we want. So you can just keep adding as many as possible here. It doesn't matter. Then now let's go to specific pages. So let's say we are in here. So immediately, the reason why this should be at the top is you don't want any HTML before you redirect the user. So let's create a page called access denied. So just call it denied.php. And let's paste some of this content as well. So we don't need access here because denied, everybody should be able to view this page. And then we will say access denied, exclamation point, like so. Okay, very good. Now, if I want to restrict access to my admin page, so let's start with that, admin. So immediately after access, whatever that is, we'll say if something like this, if actually let's put a function right inside the access page because we need that function there. So put the function at the top, then add your access levels. So the function will be like this. Let's say function, something wrong, function, there we go. Some function access, we're just going to call it access like that. So the name is up to you. So access, now we will check the access level. So we just say level here, or let's say rank like that, because we're supplying the rank that we need. Now this rank we are supplying here is what is required for the page to be loaded. So we will ask the question. So supply rank, yes. Actually, let's put the function below. Sorry about that. Now the reason I'm putting the function below is because I need these defined in advance. Okay. So the thing is, these variables, it's better to make them constants. Now constants, the reason we're doing that is because constants can be accessed anywhere, inside functions, outside functions, anywhere on the page. Now if you want, you can assign them to the session itself. That's up to you. So you can use session, or you can just use constants. So in our case, let's use a constant for now. If it doesn't work out, we'll go to session data. So say define. Now to define, you put your inverted commas. Now this one will be admin like this. So that will be the ranking name. And then what is its value? Its value is going to be that same admin at the top there, like this. So you will do this for all your rankings like that. Now the reason I actually, we don't even need to do all this. I can just cut this. I don't know if this can actually work, but well, let's give it a try. Let's do this, and I will put this in there. Now the reason I had done it the other way around is so that it's clear what's going on. So is set, you assign it to this, and then you put it there. But I think you can put it directly there. It will evaluate to false, and so it will be set to whatever that is. So let's do that instead. Just for it to be cleaner, I'll paste there. I will cut here as well and paste there. Then we don't need these anymore. It's just that I need to copy this, cut and paste it there. Remove this, and then get user, cut and paste it there. Now constants just look better when they are in capital letter form, so we're just going to say edit convert case, uppercase. Same thing here, convert case, uppercase. But don't change this to uppercase because these are values in the database and they're small letters. So there we go. So all we need to check now is that the rank that has been given here actually exists. Ooh. Yeah, no, there's a reason why I used the session, why it's advisable to use a session. Okay, wait a second here. So yeah, I think let's use sessions instead. So let's get define here out of the way. I'd forgotten about that. Okay, so let's go session here. Let's do this session like that, and then we are going to remove that like so, and put this, and move like that, and put that, and then remove this and put equal sign like so. Okay, then let's go to the end and remove these the very end. You'll see why I converted to this. It's because I need the container to be an array. Okay, and also what you may do is, instead of just adding them like this, because in the session there's usually so much that you add there, all the data. Let's say for example, if it's an e-commerce website, you may add data that for the cart, for example, it will be in the session. So it's always a good idea to just set this inside another thing. Like for example, we say access like so. That way everything is inside access like that. So session access, then admin is equal to that, then access, then user is equal to that, and so on and so forth. So down here you put as many as you want, but then here we can ask the question. So I actually earlier said that I will need these guys to be this function to be at the bottom, but actually it will work even at the top. And that's because this function will only run after this page has already been loaded, sorry. So that's because we'll run this function from, let's say if we're in the index page, or let's say the admin page, right? We will run this function down here, meaning everything has already been set inside the access page. So it can be up here, no problem. And then you can add as many as you want access levels down here. So the question is, we'll give an access level here, but then we'll check if it actually is true. So there will be an if statement here like this. So for example, if we want to check for admin, we'll say if admin, just like that. Okay, and we just check if not admin. If you're not an admin, then redirect you. So we'll redirect you with header. So we'll say header, oops. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do with people that don't have access. Maybe you can give them a message or something, but we want to take them to denied.php like that. And then make sure that you die here, so that in case this redirect fails, they still don't load the page. Okay, so there we go. So if not admin, now the thing is, we don't want to just check for the admin, we want to check for any rank that we want. So we'll replace the final thing with admin. But of course we need to make sure that this is set. So the session must be set. So because if it's not set and we try to do this, we'll get an error. So first of all, we'll check here if is set that access, right? No, without the actual rank, just this one. So if not is set. So if this isn't set, let's still redirect the user to access denied, because we require this to be set for them to be logged in. So if it's not set, I'm guessing something went wrong or whatever it is. But usually, because yeah, actually no, this is fine if it is set, because we might try to check for an access point that is not set. And so yeah, so you can decide what you want to do in case the you don't mind if the session access is set or not. That's entirely up to you. You can decide to do something else. Okay, so there we go. Actually, wait a minute, this is not very good. So let me copy this, let me cut this. Actually, I don't like the way the two if statements are set together here, so I'll just put it here. So I'll say if is a set I think this is better. If is set and false. So if it is set but it is false, do this. Okay, so you can put the if statement that you want here to suit your situation, but let's see this thing in action. So I will go to access here and copy this. Then I'll go to the admin page. Where are you? Now right after this I'll paste that. Then I'll give the rank that I want to check for. Now remember, these are capital letters, so it should be capital like that. So access admin, that's all you need to do. So let's come back here. This one is clearly not an admin. Mary is a receptionist. So let's try and go to the admin page. So it's taking me to access denied, right? Access denied. Let's go home. Try to admin page, access denied. But let's see if we log in as an admin. So I'll log out. Now let's see if we are logged out. And oh, by the way, I think we can leave those. If you want to, when logging out, you can also remove the session access. If you want to remove those, you can do an if statement and remove those as well, if that's something you want to do. Okay, so now let's log in as the admin. Password. Okay, so now if I go to admin page, it shows me this is the admin page. I have access here. Okay, so it's as simple as that: accountant, receptionist, admin, and so on. So now let's try something more complex, right? Let's see here. Let me come back to this. Let's look at one of these guys who's a user, just a user, John. So let's see if he can access any of these pages. So let's go back to admin.php. I'll copy access admin. So we need the admin here. And let's go to receptionist. So here I will put that as well. I'll get receptionist here, put it here, and change this to uppercase, convert case, uppercase, like so. Okay, access receptionist, of course. Let me copy this again. Let's go to the, what is the other one? Accountant, right? So let me copy that, paste it here, change that to uppercase, convert to uppercase. So this is for the accountant, and so on and so forth. So let me refresh the page. Now, of course, access denied. Look at this, I'm an admin, right? So the admin should obviously be able to access all pages. So if I click on accountant, access denied. Receptionist, access denied. So this is not good, but I can access the admin page, right? So to solve this is actually quite simple. So we go back to the access.php page. And so what to do is, since when we are an admin and the access level says admin, only admins should access that page. It means I must be an admin and nothing else. But when it says user, for example, it means I can be an admin as well, and it should also still work. And I can be a receptionist, and it should still work. But where it says receptionist, it means I can be an admin and a receptionist, and it would work, but not a user. So all you have to do is play around with these if statement to make sure that they are true for what you want and false for what you don't want. So in this case, let's take, for example, where the user has access. So the user, if the access says for user, it means all these should be able to access that. So I will also get the stream admin here, copy, and put an or statement, double pipes, paste, and then I want this evaluated as 1, so I will put the brackets there like that. So I'm saying if you are a user or an admin, where it says user, you should still have access. Also, if you're a receptionist, you should still have access there. So I'll copy this as well and put another or statement at the very end, double pipes, paste like that. So where the rank says user, it means all these guys should be able to access that. But where it says receptionist, the admin should also be able to access that. So I'll copy this. So receptionist, I'll say or, paste like that. And similar thing, I will put this inside curly or inside these brackets like so. Okay, so where there's a receptionist, both the receptionist and the admin should be able to access, but not just the user. But where it says admin, only the admin should access that. So let's give this a run. I'll refresh. Since I'm admin, let me click admin page. I have access. Accountant page, oh, access denied. Receptionist, I'm available, but accountant, no. That's because I didn't add that there. So here, as you can see, there is no accountant. So just make sure you add accountant. So let me change this to accountant like so. So the rank should be equal to accountant. Let's change that. Accountant like so. So only the accountant and the admin should be able to access that part where it says accountant, not the receptionist and not the user. So this is working out. So let's go to accountant and see if we have access now. There we go. So as an admin, I have access to the admin, to the accountant page, to the receptionist page, and so on. But let me log out and log in as just a user, who is John in this case. So I'll say password, just a user. Let's see if I can access any of these pages. Admin, no. Accountant, no. Receptionist, no. So you see, now let's log in as receptionist, which is Mary, and password. So while I'm here, I can't go to the admin page, no. I can't go to the accountant page, but I can go to the receptionist page. See? Very good. So this is how you set access to things, okay? Now, if for example you want to show or hide certain buttons depending on who the ranking member is, let's say you want a button for changing certain things, let's say just changing the ranking of a user, for example. So let's say, for example, here, let's come back here to the header. So this one is Mary, right? But if I were admin, I want to be able to change my ranking. So let me go to the header here. Let's do some magic. So here, what I want is, let's do this. Let me come down here. And I want to add a form, like so. The form method is going to be wait a minute. Okay, the form method is going to be a post like that. And then what I want is a selector, and I want one option here. Now this option is, the first one is user. So there we go. So we have user, we have accountant, and we have receptionist, then we have admin finally, admin. So let me come back here and refresh so we see. So there we go. So here we can change somebody's rank to something else, right? So now what I want is to use the rank to show this selector. So I want only the admin to be the only one that can do this. that can see this selector only when you're admin. So we can use access levels as well to choose exactly who sees that. So here, let's put an if statement, for example. We'll put an if statement, but for a second, let's come back here. So here, the thing is, this is a function. So a function can return values. So for example here, yes, if it is set, so if we pass through here, it means things didn't work out and we were redirected. Okay, that's what it means. So what I can do is I can put a second parameter here, which is called redirect. Okay, something like that. But I will set it to have a default. Redirect, the default will be true. So that if we just put a rank and we don't specify here, it's going to say the redirect is true. And if redirect is true, we will redirect the user. So I will say if redirect, and then go down here. Let me move this lower. Then if redirect is true, then redirect the user. Like that. Else, actually here, if that doesn't happen, we'll still get here. So I will return false here. Otherwise, I will return true here. Like this. Okay, so what this means is that if I get to this point, at the point of returning true, it means everything went well. I passed this test here, so which means I'm allowed to view this page, so it will just bypass this. Then I can return a true, meaning I'm allowed. The ranking is correct, right? Now, if it returns false, it means I was supposed to be redirected because I have no access to this thing, so it will return false. But if redirect is true, it won't even return any of these, it will just redirect the user. But the reason I'm doing this is because we can use this for another function as well. Okay, so as it is now, I haven't changed anything per se. Things will work exactly the same. So Mary here has receptionist access, accountant no, admin no. Okay, so now what I want to do to use this is to say access. I'll copy this. So let's come back to our header. So I want this to only show when the user is an admin. So how do I do that? I just put an if statement. I'll say if access, like so. Now I will put this inside PHP tags, PHP equals, like this. So if access rank, now what rank are we looking for here? So the rank we are looking for is admin in capital letters, like so. And then do you want to redirect? No. So I don't want to redirect, so here I'll just put false, like that. Okay, then I'll put a full colon and do that. That way we can use the inbuilt templating for PHP. So I will do this, PHP again, and then say and if. Put a semicolon and close that as well. Okay, so yeah, so if this comes back as true, we will show this. If it comes back as false, we will not. So if admin is me, it will come back as true. So let me come back here and refresh the page. Call to undefined function access. Okay, so now the reason we are having this problem is because we did not include the access file. So simple fix here. We should always include it before using it. So I'll say include access.php. Put your semicolon, don't forget that. And there we go. Boom. So now to avoid this, you can always include it in advance at the top of every page. That way you don't have to include it everywhere you're using it. You can just include it at the very top. So Mary has no access here to admin, accountant, but receptionist. So cannot redeclare access previously declared. Yes. Okay. So these are the problems you get into eventually. So what's happening here is that access was declared in, whoa, access, where is this? What's going on? This is a receptionist, right? Okay. So it's telling me I cannot redeclare this function. It means I have loaded this page twice. That's why it's telling me this. So this is inside the header, but I went to the rec.php. So if I go to rec.php, where is this? You see that I have included that one there. So come back here to solve this problem. It's very easy. Just don't include anything in the header because the header is shared by many files. So I'll do that. Instead, what I should have done is go to the index page and, oh, it's actually included there. That's great. So no need to include it there. So let me go back to the home page, admin. Okay, so in the admin page, code to undefined function, access online 40 header. Okay, so the reason it's doing this is because in the denied page here we are not including access, so I'll include it there, and then there we go. Okay, so there we go, everything is working fine. The login page also does not have access, so make sure that every page that has the header, because we need, in the header we are using this function, so anything that has the header should also include access. So at the very top I will include it there of login page. I also include it on top of sign up page. Anything with the header should include it. Okay, so refresh, there we go. Okay, so we are good to go. Now let me log in as a an admin. Okay, now as soon as I log in as an admin, you see now I can see this. Very good. So now I can be able to change the rank in real time of myself, I guess. So you would, in real life, you would create a profile page for each user, and then right at the profile page you allow access to the admin for that profile page, and you can add things like, let me come back here to access. You can allow things like the page owner, who owns the page. For example, sometimes to know if I own the page, let's say if it's my profile, I want to know if it's my profile. Usually the profile page contains data about that particular user, right? So let's say, imagine the data is inside a user variable. So user ID will contain the user ID of that profile. So you can just ask the question, is this user ID of the profile equal to the user ID inside the session? Because there's session and there's my ID somewhere. So you can just equate the two and say equals session my ID, something like this, my ID. So this would definitely tell you whether the owner, the record retrieved for that profile is the same as the one that is accessing it at that time. So you can use that as part of this access thing, and you call it page owner or something. Then you can check if this is the page owner, then he owns that page and has the right to edit it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I hope you've learned something about access levels here and how to switch off certain buttons depending on who has access and who does not. And so if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I will get to them. But so far, this is what I wanted to show, and I will see you in another tutorial.